It's just money and family shares. Ashley's voice dripped with disdain over the phone. You can always save more. Emma's only 12. You've got time to recover. I stood motionless in my kitchen, staring at the harsh red numbers on my banking app. The college fund I'd been carefully building for Emma since her birth, nearly $887,000, was completely gone. My name is Rochelle Parker, and at 38, I never imagined my own family could betray me like this. I'd spent years playing the role of the responsible one, raising my daughter alone after Mark passed away 5 years ago, working as a pediatric nurse to secure Emma's future. Mark's sister, Ashley, had always been around, but her presence was rarely helpful. Ashley, I said, keeping my tone controlled, a skill I'd mastered during pediatric emergencies. That money was meant for Emma's education. How did you even get access to it? She chuckled, her laughter sharp and grating. Come on, Mark made me a cosigner when Emma was born. You never bothered to change it after he died. Her words hit like a physical blow. In the whirlwind of grief following Mark's death, I'd been too consumed with holding things together for Emma and me to consider legalities. Now, that oversight had cost my daughter her future. The pool was falling apart. Ashley continued casually, as though we were discussing the weather. It was a safety issue, Rochelle. What was I supposed to do? Let my kids swim in it? Family helps family. You should know that, she added, as if it was a reasonable excuse. My jaw clenched. Emma was upstairs working on her science project, dreaming of becoming a doctor, and here was Ashley, justifying stealing from her niece for a pool renovation. How much did the repairs cost? I asked, keeping my voice steady, though my hands were shaking. About $30,000, she said flippantly. I took a little extra for landscaping too. The yard was looking shabby, and property values matter in this neighborhood. Really, I did you a favor. I'll enjoy it when Emma visits. The rest of the money, $557,000, had gone into landscaping. My stomach churned, but I kept my tone controlled. And when were you planning on telling me about this? Oh, you know how life gets. Ashley shrugged. I figured you'd understand. You're always saying how families should support each other, like when you asked me to babysit Emma last month. I tightened my grip on the phone. Her comparison was infuriating. Babysitting for one night isn't the same as draining a college fund. Right, Ashley, I said, forcing calm into my voice. Families should support each other. Thanks for the update. The silence on her end made it clear she hadn't expected that response. Glad we're on the same page, she said, before hanging up. I sat down at the kitchen table, pulling up my banking history. Years of dealing with hospital paperwork had taught me the value of keeping records. I downloaded every statement showing my careful contributions to Emma's fund and began drafting an email to James Turner, Mark's old college friend and a top financial lawyer. Mom? Emma's voice interrupted me, and I turned to see her standing in the doorway, her ponytail swinging like Mark's used to when he was her age. Is everything okay? I overheard you on the phone. I forced a smile. It's fine, sweetheart, just some adult stuff. How's the science project? Almost done, she replied enthusiastically. I'm writing about genetic markers in cancer. Dad's old oncology journals really helped. Pride swelled in my chest. I wasn't about to let Ashley's greed stand in the way of Emma's dreams. Later, after Emma had gone to bed, I called Margaret, my mother-in-law. Her usually warm tone turned cold as I recounted what had happened. She did what? Margaret gasped. Rochelle, I'm so sorry. I knew Ashley was struggling, but I never thought she'd go this far. Struggling? I pressed, sensing there was more to the story. Margaret sighed. She's been day trading, trying to make quick cash. I warned her, but she doesn't listen. Last I heard, she'd lost a lot. Everything fell into place, the hasty pool repairs, the excessive landscaping. Ashley wasn't just being reckless, she was desperate, trying to maintain appearances. What are you going to do? Margaret asked softly. Protect Emma, I replied firmly. Mark would have wanted that. As I sifted through old papers, I came across a letter Mark had written shortly before his death. In it, he expressed concerns about Ashley's financial instability and his intention to remove her as a cosigner on Emma's fund. He hadn't had the chance. I forwarded the letter to James, adding it to the growing case file. Then, I transferred every penny I had saved for a future home into a new, secure account for Emma's education. A house could wait, her future couldn't. Ashley's text came in as I finished. The kids love the pool. You and Emma should come check it out this weekend. See? Everyone wins. I didn't respond. Instead, I filed a formal complaint with the state banking authority. Ashley thought she could get away with this, but she was about to learn that true family protects each other, and betrayal has consequences. As I worked late into the night, gathering evidence, I almost felt Mark's steady presence beside me. For Emma, I would fight with everything I had. The next morning, my coffee turned bitter when I read James's email. Ashley hadn't just drained Emma's college fund, she'd also tried to access Mark's life insurance policy. 2 months ago, the insurance company had denied her request, but the attempt was well documented. "This shows a clear pattern," James wrote. "We can use this to prove premeditated financial exploitation. I've drafted a cease and desist letter, but I suggest we act fast. The longer we wait, the harder it may be to recover the funds." I was in the process of drafting a reply when the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Ashley standing there, wearing designer sunglasses and a forced smile. "Rochelle, I thought I'd stop by to talk about the pool. Emma really should see the finished project. Her contribution made all the difference." Her casual attitude made my stomach churn. "Come in, Ashley," I said, masking my anger. "Emma's at her study group, so we can talk privately." She breezed into the living room, tossing her expensive handbag onto the couch like she owned the place. "I brought pictures of the pool," she said brightly, pulling out her phone. "The waterfall feature turned out amazing. It really boosts the neighborhood." I sat across from her, watching as she nervously fiddled with her wedding ring. "Actually," I said coolly, "I'd like to discuss the life insurance policy." The color drained from her face. "What about it?" "The insurance company reached out this morning," I said. "They mentioned your inquiry about Mark's policy. Funny timing, don't you think? Especially after what happened with Emma's college fund." Ashley faltered, her polished persona cracking. "That was just a misunderstanding," she stammered. "I was helping Mom organize some family papers. You know how she gets confused." "Margaret doesn't seem confused to me," I replied. "In fact, she seemed pretty clear when she told me about your day trading losses." Her expression hardened. "She had no right to tell you that. It's none of your business." "It became my business when you stole from my daughter to cover your gambling debts." "Day trading isn't gambling," Ashley snapped, rising to her feet. "And I didn't steal anything. Mark would have wanted to help me. He always helped family." I thought of Mark, how hard he worked to build Emma's college fund, determined to give her every opportunity. "Mark wanted to protect his daughter," I said, pulling out the letter. "I discovered that, before the accident, he had been planning to remove you as a co-signer. He knew he couldn't trust you with Emma's future." Ashley's hands shook as she grabbed the letter, her face draining of color as she read it. "This doesn't prove anything," she muttered. "He never actually made the changes. I had every right to access that account." "Having access doesn't make it right," I replied, my calm facade cracking as frustration simmered. "You didn't just steal from me and Emma, you betrayed your brother's trust." "Stop being so dramatic," she retorted, though her voice wavered. "It's just money. I'll pay it back eventually." "With what?" I challenged, my tone sharp. "Your failed investments. Or will you steal from someone else?" Her face turned red. "You're just jealous because I'm trying to create something better for my family. The pool adds value to our home. It's an investment. An investment funded by your niece's future," I shot back. "Well, I've made an investment too," she snapped. "I hired James Turner to handle this legally." Her face went pale at the mention of Mark's lawyer. "James? You involved James?" "I did," I said. "This isn't going away. Ashley, you can return the money voluntarily, or we'll let the courts handle it. The choice is yours." Ashley snatched her bag and stormed out, her composure crumbling. "You're making a huge mistake," she spat. "Think about what this will do to the family." "I am thinking about family," I said firmly, "specifically my daughter's future." After she left, my phone exploded with messages. Ashley had already begun portraying herself as the victim, claiming I was out for revenge, but I wasn't backing down. I forwarded James's email to Margaret, along with all the evidence of Ashley's attempted fraud. The family chat lit up almost immediately. "How could you do this to Emma?" Margaret's message cut through the noise. "Your brother trusted you to protect his daughter, not take from her." Ashley's frantic responses came flooding in. "It wasn't stealing. I was going to pay it back. Rachel's making this a bigger deal than it is." I muted the chat and called Emma's study group mom. Emma was fine, deep into a discussion on cellular biology. Like her father, she found solace in understanding how things worked and how to fix them when broken. But some things couldn't be fixed. Once trust was broken, it was far harder to mend than any pool. Later that evening, James called with more news. I filed the paperwork, he said, but there's something else. You were right. Most of the money didn't even go to the pool. It's in her day trading accounts. I felt the weight of his words. What are our options? We can pursue criminal charges, James said. This is fraud and theft. Or we can go civil, but that'll take longer to get the money back. I thought of Emma and her father's kind heart. Let's start civil. Give her one chance to make it right before we go further. More generous than she deserves, James replied. I'll get everything prepared. That night, as we sat down for dinner, Emma looked up from her homework. Mom, is everything okay with Aunt Ashley? Your phone kept buzzing. I squeezed her hand across the table. Sometimes adults make big mistakes, I said, but don't worry, I'm handling it. She nodded wisely. Dad always said we have to hold people accountable, even when it's hard, especially family. Looking at her, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Ashley had betrayed our grief, trust, and family bond, but she would learn that once certain ties are broken, it only strengthens the resolve to protect what truly matters. 2 weeks after filing the civil suit, Ashley's lies started unraveling in unexpected ways. The pool company called me, confused about the $330,000 repair figure in the legal documents. Mrs. Parker, the owner said, our bill was only $88,000 for basic repairs. We can send you the invoices if needed. Those invoices were the final proof of Ashley's deception. James gathered everything, bank transfers, the pool company's real bills, and records showing Ashley had transferred almost all of Emma's college fund into high-risk day trading accounts, which were now empty. During mediation, with the overwhelming evidence laid out, Ashley finally broke down. I thought I could double the money, she cried, mascara streaking down her face. The forum said it was guaranteed returns. I was going to pay it all back with interest. Emma would have had even more for college. Margaret, sitting beside me, shook her head. Your brother worked tirelessly for years to save that money, and you gambled it away in weeks. The mediator outlined the terms. Ashley could agree to a repayment plan with strict oversight, or face criminal charges for fraud. But I don't have the money, Ashley whispered. The market crashed. It's all gone. Then sell the house, Margaret said coldly, the one you're so proud of, with its pool and landscaping. Downsize, get a job, do whatever it takes, but you'll make this right. Under the final agreement, Ashley and her husband were forced to sell their house, using the equity to repay most of Emma's fund. The remaining balance would be deducted from her wages once she found work. She was also required to attend gambling addiction counseling. It's more than she deserves, Margaret said to me afterward, but Mark would have wanted us to give her a chance to fix her mistakes. The day Ashley moved out, Emma and I drove past the for sale signs, a stark contrast to the pool that had started this whole nightmare. Mom, Emma asked softly, do you think Aunt Ashley will ever understand what she did? I thought about family, trust, and the lessons Mark had taught us. Sometimes, people have to lose everything to realize what they had, I said, but for now, let's focus on your future. That afternoon, we went to the bank and I opened a new college fund for Emma, under my sole control, transferring my savings, the deposit I had originally set aside for our dream house. Emma looked at me, alarmed. Mom, you don't have to give up your dream house for me. I hugged her close, her hair smelling faintly of the shampoo she used since she was little. Sweetheart, you are my dream. The house can wait. 6 months later, Emma stood on stage at the state science fair, accepting first place for her research on genetic markers. As she smiled at the crowd, I spotted a familiar figure in the back of the auditorium, Ashley. She stood silently, watching Emma with a mix of pride and regret before quietly slipping away. Later that evening, I received a letter from Ashley. Rachel and Emma, I can never undo the harm I caused, but I want you to know that I'm working on becoming someone worthy of being called family again. Counseling is helping me understand why I made the choices I did. Mark would be so proud of Emma and so ashamed of me. I hope one day you can forgive me, but I understand if you can't. I showed Emma the letter, letting her decide how to respond. After a pause, she said something that reminded me so much of Mark that it took my breath away. Everyone deserves a second chance, Mom, she said, but maybe not a second chance with money. I laughed, holding her close, knowing that whatever the future held, we had emerged stronger. Emma had inherited her father's best qualities, his wisdom, his compassion, and his unwavering sense of right and wrong. The college fund was slowly being rebuilt, and while Ashley still had a long road to earning our trust back, I had learned what truly mattered. It wasn't the money in our accounts, but the values we carried in our hearts and the determination to protect what truly counted. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay stunned.